Hey everybody, welcome back. These are some entitled Bridezillas that got exposed.
Compilation!
Shut up! Mommy's girl! That's messed up. The day I caught my fiance cheating 2 days before our wedding. So I've told this story on Reddit a few times, but I figured this subreddit is the obvious place to get it out of my system. For reference, I'm now 31, but this happened in 2014 when I was 26, and my ex-fiance was 25. Let's call her Barb. Yes, let's. We met in college and dated for 3 years prior to our engagement, with a wedding date booked by the 4th year. Neither of our parents were well off financially, and she was attending grad school. So the financial responsibility fell on me, which totaled $20,000 that was paid in full 4 days prior to the wedding. Leading up to that nightmare of an evening, we had our typical mid-20s relationship issues, with bouts of poor communication, excessive drinking on weekends, and an occasional fight over trivial BS. Aside from that, we had a great relationship and spent a ton of time together figuring out post-college life and planning for our future. As I said above, the wedding and reception venue cashed my check 4 days before the wedding, and the contract stated that this was non-refundable. Over 120 guests were confirmed, a couple dozen from out of state, tuxes and bridesmaids dresses were fitted and paid, and everything was falling into place. Now let's go to the inevitable storm of events that you're interested in before I keep rambling. Wait, Jermaine? Can you scratch it? Aw, thanks, bestie. I'm just hungry and I wanted a taste. The night in question was a Friday evening in our new apartment that we moved into a few weeks prior, and we decided to have about a dozen friends over to pregame and head out to the bars in town. Included in this group of friends was my buddy, whom I've known since kindergarten. We'll call him Ricky. Ricky and Barb, eh? Ricky and Barb. Barb and I, Barb, but make it Canadian. Barb and I had spent a lot of time with Ricky over the last 3 years, and he was definitely one of my pals, which is generally awesome when your significant other gets along with people in your social circle. The night started at a local hookah lounge that was BYOB. So by the time we left there, a 1/5 of Jameson and a 30 rack of Yingling were gone, and everyone was buzzed. The next 3 hours were spent between 2 to 3 bars that resulted in the entire group devolving into a drunken, belligerent mess. All right, sounds kind of fun, but also dangerous. Once the bars closed, most people went home, with the exception of myself, Barb, Ricky, and another couple who came back to our apartment for a nightcap. Once back at our place, the couple only lasted another 20 minutes before calling it and making their way home. So I was left with Barb and frickin' Ricky. Earlier in the night at the hookah bar, I noticed Barb checking her phone more than usual, and simultaneously, Ricky checking his phone after she would lock the screen. I almost put 2 and 2 together, but why would I worry about them planning anything shady 2 days before I was supposed to marry this girl? Back at my house, I was fairly sober and noticed all the booze was gone. So I was contemplating picking up a couple of 6-packs from a local spot that stayed open until 3 a.m. Barb and Ricky were definitely on the liquor and tanked, but there was no reason to suspect anything sketchy would occur if I ran out for 20 minutes. Once in my car and preparing to exit my apartment complex, I got a sinking feeling in my gut that something wasn't right, and it completely freaked me out. So I called my best bud, and he agreed to be picked up and join me on the beer run and accompany me back to the apartment. After grabbing some Bud Heebies and returning home, we walked up to the sliding glass door that led to my living room that had a sectional to the immediate right. We opened the door, took 2 steps inside the apartment, and my ex-fiance was completely topless and mounted on Mr. Ricky, tonsil deep down each other's throats. The amazing part of the situation was neither of them appeared to notice that my buddy and I were 10 feet away watching their sloppy, drunken escapades. After 7 to 10 seconds of attempting to comprehend the situation, I lost it. I dropped the booze, threw her backward off Ricky, completely topless, and landed 2 hard right hooks to Ricky's eye and cheek, while he was still laying on his back with the most terrified look on his face. To put things into perspective, I'm 6 foot and 220 pounds, and I've played hockey my entire life. He is 5'6", 140 pounds, and a runner. Immediately following the assault with my fist, Ricky started snoring. Okay, I don't mean to laugh. Sorry, didn't know this was a thing. And was asleep for at least 5 minutes while I was losing my mind over the situation. Wait, he fell asleep? He passed out? What? Without thinking, I called our parents about 10 times until they woke up and demanded they come to pick up their cheating daughter immediately. Their house was 5 minutes down the road, so they walked in shortly thereafter while I was laying into Barb about her unforgivable, disgusting decision. As you should, bestie. Her parents frantically walked into me, screaming at Barb and Ricky, out on the couch, and my buddy mediating the situation. The first thing I told everyone was the wedding was off. I demanded the ring back, and I said I'd rather lose $20,000 than spend the rest of my life with a cheating B-word. Her parents spent the next 20 minutes attempting to talk me out of it and occasionally defending Barb's actions, saying things like, why can't you forgive her, or isn't it too late to cancel the wedding? Meanwhile, Ricky woke up and the right side of his face had swollen to the size of a grapefruit, and his left eye was completely shut. Kicking him out of the apartment was tough because he was too drunk to drive, so I called his brother that was 20 minutes away and spent that time laying into Barb, Ricky, and her parents. Surprisingly, I was able to stay level-headed enough to express my thoughts in such an extreme state of rage. By the time Ricky's brother picked him up and Barb's parents shuttled her home, I had systematically picked apart any objection, opinion, or plea for reconsideration expressed by everyone in the room. It felt really great. I love that for you. I know it's not happening to me, but if it was, I'd be proud. I'm not going to pretend the following months were easy and everything worked out in my favor. 2 months later, the pharma company I worked at decided to lay off my entire division. I had racked up thousands in credit card debt to pay for the wedding, unemployment haunted me for 5 months, and I was diagnosed with major depression. Life was effed up for a few years, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But now I'm 31, and things have settled down, and I couldn't be happier. Thank you for letting me get this off my chest. You know what? Thank you for sharing. That's super messed up. What I don't understand is in that moment why everybody was trying to get you to change your mind. Once a cheater, always a cheater. I also don't understand the sheer stupidity of hooking up with someone when your fiance is gonna be back in a few minutes from getting liquor. Are you stupid or something? I think you made the right decision. Cheating sucks. It sucks to break up with somebody, but like realistically, you're never gonna be able to look at her the same way again. Like not only did she cheat, but she cheated on you 2 days before your wedding. That's literally unforgivable. Bride demands bridesmaids return the pre-wedding gifts she gave them after her wedding was canceled because she was cheating. Am I the a-hole for not returning my bridesmaid gifts after the wedding was canceled? Hello everyone, I'm 27 female. My friend Jessica, 28 female, was supposed to get married over the summer. She asked me and a few of our other friends to be her bridesmaids by giving us gift boxes with things for the bachelorette party, which is gonna be a long weekend in Mexico. 3 of us are nurses, 2 are teachers, we're all vaccinated. The box had sunglasses, a bathing suit, shoes, some jewelry, a water bottle, and a tote bag in it. They were really nice. Well, Jessica's fiance got a call from her boyfriend and the wedding was called off. Neither one of them knew about each other. We were all just as blindsided as he was. We had no idea. Jessica recently contacted me to tell me that the trip isn't happening. She wants the bridesmaids' gifts back. Why though? Just need some extra sunglasses. Maybe you're running out of tote bags. You're kind of low-key punishing the people that were supposed to be at your wedding. But it's your fault. I don't get it. I guess some of the girls hadn't taken any of the stuff out, so they just gave them back, but I took the stuff out. I used the tote bag and the sunglasses already, and after I had tried on the bathing suit, I cut the tags off. When I told Jessica I had assumed this stuff was a gift, so I had already used some of it, she got really mad and said I should have saved it for the trip, and that I had to reimburse her for the price of all the stuff. You know, I would call you a Bridezilla, but you kind of up, didn't you? Had to. I was gonna do it just to get her off my back, but then I found out when I was hanging out with her ex one day that she wasn't the one that bought the things in the boxes. He was! Shut up! No! Oh, man. So I asked him if he wanted me to reimburse him, and he said no, and that it's just a drop in the bucket of all the money he's down from the wedding. And the extra $275 won't really make any difference. I'm not really worried about losing my friendship with Jessica. I think what she did to her fiance says a lot about her character. But I know her and the maid of honor, her sister, are talking a lot of in the group chat that I'm stealing from Jessica. Am I the a-hole? Stealing is an interesting choice of words considering she's not the one that paid for it. Yet she's the one demanding to be paid back. No! You're not the a-hole. You're not. I'd keep that all the way. Must have been a really nice tote bag. The wedding hasn't even happened yet and everything's already a train wreck. Now this one's a long one now, buckle up. Okay, so this girl I know from high school is getting married. We're both 22 for reference. In our senior year of high school, she got pregnant with baby daddy A, who will be referred to as Adam. Hi, Adam. Her super conservative parents kicked her out and she ended up moving in with a friend's family. She barely graduated high school. The only reason she did was because of the generosity and support of our teachers and students who volunteered to help her, which is how we met. We were in the same law class in the morning and she had the worst morning sickness that really affected her ability to be in class. So I took extra notes for her, tutored her, and brought her her stuff if she hadn't come back by the bell. I wasn't the only one who did stuff like this for her, and I know she really appreciates all the assistance we gave her. She had the baby a month after we graduated. She signed up for a 911 dispatch dispatcher course for after high school because where we live, it's a good steady job with opportunity for certificates and promotions. But she didn't realize how intensive the course would be and had to drop out. She started working at a grocery store bakery just until she had a better plan. Adam started an apprenticeship while working part-time at a hockey rink and proposed to her literally the day of her 18th birthday and brought up marriage because it's the right thing to do. I don't really agree with that, but this isn't about me, and she was always refusing. She started cheating on him after a while. We're all 19 now, and eventually leaves him for another guy because she's pregnant again, and it's far more likely that this guy, baby daddy B, who will be referred to as Brad, is the father of the child. Neither of them can afford lawyers, so getting any kind of custody agreement is a mess, and then their parents got involved and they did a 50-50 split. Still not made official. She has the baby that does turn out to be Brad's, and everything's okay for about 9 months when she finds out Brad had been cheating on her with his TA. I know it's a long one, but I'm invested. Are you guys invested? Brad decides to pay child support, but doesn't really want contact with the kid, only around holidays and one weekend a month for his parents' sake. She moves back in with her parents, we're all 20 now, who only accept her back because there's grandchildren around. On the plus side, when she's 21, she gets to take that year-long dispatcher course and passes with flying colors. After working as a dispatcher for a year, we're all 22 now, she meets a police officer we'll call Chad, who's 26 and married. Whoa, wait. And Adam's second cousin. I can't remember how they're related, just that Adam and Chad are related somewhat distantly. She has an affair with him. Infidelity is super common among cops, apparently. She gets knocked up. His wife divorces him. Chad proposes because it's the right thing to do. She accepts, and her parents kick her out again for being a insert expletive here. She moves in with Chad with her 2 kids. They've started planning the wedding, which, given the background, is something akin to a dumpster fire. Adam is livid. He was desperately in love with this girl and hasn't really recovered from what she did to him. And while she rejected his proposals years ago, she accepted one from his cousin, who proposed for the same reason he did. I mean, circumstances have kind of changed, if you know what I mean. Now she's got like 2 babies, another one on the way. It just kind of makes sense. Adam has basically made a call for loyalty in the family, dividing everyone who should go, who should give money, etc. Plus, they're having trouble planning anything because of COVID. Her parents have outright said they're not going, along with half of her family, and her younger sister has been going around sabotaging what plans they can make. She asked me to be a bridesmaid. I said that I couldn't because I live in a different province now, but the truth is, I don't want to be wrapped up in that cluster in any way. I'm just watching the arguments and events unfold on social media because this is quite honestly the most entertaining thing I've seen all year. It's weird to me that she even asked because we're not friends. We never have been. We were friendly strangers in high school. I just helped her out for one class because she needed help and I could give it to her. I was just being nice. But based on how she turned out, I'm just sad for her. 3 kids in 4 years, and she's alienated so much of her friends and family because of her actions. And I'm torn between feeling sorry for her and putting my head in my hands. Bridezilla ambushes fiance in Target, demands marriage now. Okay. Oh, she's got the dress on and everything. Oh, look at her bridesmaid. Look at her chase after her. Dum dum da dum 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 da dum. Oh, they have a minister too. Look at that. He's got the Bible.
Hi guys. I'm just finally making him commit, you know? Like we're getting married now or like it's over. Woo! Do it.
Woo! Woo! This is one way to get him to commit. Not my first choice, but choosing beggars BYOB except for groom, shotgun wedding. Multiple posts today asking for donations for both the wedding and baby shower, not including the insane gift registries, so they don't have to provide anything for their guests. Just a friendly reminder, the wedding is a BYOB. The groom likes Coors Banquet, Pendleton, Jack Daniels, or something along those lines. They're bringing alcohol for the groom to drink? I'm obviously pregnant, so no booze for me. Someone enjoy a drink for me. Can't wait to see everyone in 13 days. I don't know, something about that doesn't sit right with me. That's one way to go about it. Getting the groom and bride drunk, I guess, is a normal thing to want to do, but like to bring your own booze for the whole wedding. Dang, people really be pinching pennies out here. Woman wants a wedding dress for $10. You're looking for a size 12 and you're looking to spend $10. Is that with the shipping? Yes, the shipping will cost more than $10. Am I hearing this correctly? Got it. Just needed to make sure. Now I'm gonna post this in Bridezilla's. Choosing beggar asks people to pay to be in her wedding. Anyone who spends $500 or more will get a seat at the head table of my wedding. $1,000 gets you a bridesmaid/groomsman spot. See you soon. Oh goody. Love to pay to take on all of the extra work of a bridesmaid or groomsman. It's a dream come true, really. Oh, and by the way, this is your reminder to subscribe. I feel like I need to start reminding people to do that. Please subscribe. Hey everyone, who's ready for Hawaii 2019? In anticipation of the wedding, and believe me, I know it's a long way away, but I would still like to announce the dress code. I'm giving you a long notice of a year and a half so that you will have time to find and pick out something nice. The dress code is very specific because it will be used to create an incredible visual effect. If done right, it will make our synchronized dancing along the beach really pop. So without further ado, woman, 100 to 165 pounds, green velvet sweater, orange suede pants, Louboutin heels, the famous red heels shoes, which are like $2,000, but go on. When we spin and lift our feet, the effect will amaze you. Burberry scarf, another $1,000. Men, 100 to 200 pounds. Purple fuzzy jacket, soda hat, all white trainers, plain glow sticks. Fuzzy jacket? A purple fuzzy jacket? Women, 160 pounds plus. Oh, there's different ones for the bigger girls. All black sweater and pants, any material, black heels. Men, 200 pounds plus, all camouflage, black sneakers. I like how the fat people get to wear stuff that doesn't draw attention, you know what I'm saying? We just want you to disappear, but we also want you at our wedding. We want you there, but we don't, if you know what I mean. Additionally, we will require that you wear formal attire after the dancing has ended. Please bring a change of clothing. Remember, the venue is extremely upscale, and we want to be looking our absolute best. Ladies and gents, please. If you look like trash, so will we. All jokes aside, we want you to invest in an outfit valued of at least $1,000. This includes jewelry, accessories, makeup, and hair. Remember, ladies and gents, this wedding is 24K themed for a reason. You have a year and a half to get working. No excuses. Mwah. Kisses! You're a little insane. It's one thing to ask for the bridesmaids and groomsmen to pay for their, dress. I wouldn't if I had a big wedding, but that's just me. But to ask the wedding guests to all spend $1,000 on their outfit at least, I'm guessing that you also want them to buy a gift too. It's a bit much. Not wedding decor related, but I wanted to ask something before I asked my venue about it. Me and my fiance have been to a few weddings, and at every single one we saw a tip jar at the bar for the bartenders. We only asked one person about it at one wedding because we were very close to them. And they said they already paid the bartenders and they never asked if it was okay to put out the tips at the end of the night, and the bartenders kept the money. To me, that does not sit well with me. To me, they were already paid for their service. If a tip jar was put out, I would think it should go to the bride and groom, or at least split between the bartenders and bride and groom. Am I the only one? I think maybe. I think you might be alone on that sentiment. You want to be paid for someone else's work? Am I understanding that correctly? I think I am. I don't get why my bridesmaids are pissed at me. I just asked that they pay $300 for a dress, buy a plane ticket, quarantine for 2 weeks at a hotel, get tested, risk their life at my 300-person wedding, and give a long speech about our inside jokes. It's really not a lot to ask. I think you're joking, and I appreciate the joke. It was very funny. I'm laughing on the inside. Subject. I want my fiance to get rid of his 4-year-old daughter. My fiance has a 4-year-old daughter. Her mother passed away when she was born. He's been raising her on his own ever since he lost his wife. I'm now in the picture and we are set to get married in 2022. I'm also 7 months pregnant with a precious little girl. I'm not the stepmother type, and I know I won't treat his daughter the same way I will treat our child. To be quite honest, she gets on my damn nerves. She's very attached to her daddy, and I'm afraid that this is going to take away from my child's bond with her father. I basically want to tell my fiance to get rid of her. She can live with her grandparents, or we can find her a nice family that's looking to adopt a child. I don't know how to approach the situation. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to approach. For some people, apparently. But I need to find a way to convince my fiance to let her go. I promise I'm not a bad person. I'm just trying to look out for my child and make sure she receives all of her daddy's attention without having her older sister intervene. Please help. Well, firstly, I would say to stop being a dick. To me, this is kind of the definition of evil stepmother, and the fact that you can't see that is kind of insane to me. Y'all, I don't know what to do. My sister is legitimately so pissed at me right now. I got my color swatches in and I fell in love with the color Dusty Rose. Now my sister is saying she doesn't want to be in my wedding because that's the wedding color she's picked out forever. While I want to be sympathetic, she isn't even engaged. How would you guys handle this? I'm sorry, do you own a color? Is it possible to own a color?
I don't think so.
And what if she never gets married? Which is a possibility, especially based on this post. Letting my ex-mother-in-law dictate pretty much everything. It stopped being our wedding and became her wedding, and she is crazy. The whole wedding was no longer focused on my wife and I, but my mother-in-law handing my wife off to me, which is really ironic because after that moment, mother-in-law became even more controlling. Some things she did. She had a mommy-daughter dance, made a 30-minute long speech about raising my wife, including playing several inappropriate baby videos, made a toast to herself, cut the cake with my wife, tossed the bouquet herself. What? Oh, geez. Oh, man.
Oh God, oh man. Oh God, oh man.
Departed the wedding in her limo with us. Did she come on the honeymoon too?
Can I come too?
This is the weirdest one. The bridal lingerie literally said, "Mommy's girl, stop it! Ah! Stop!" Sorry, your headphones. Welcome back to another episode of That's F***ed Up. So f***ed up. The wedding was ruined for me. The worst part, it set a precedent that my mother-in-law can do whatever she wanted in our relationship and my wife would always choose her side. This eventually caused a split after mother-in-law spanked the hell out of my daughter and my wife took her side. I know you must love your wife or ex-wife a lot in order to put up with this, but like, I think you might be better off. Just saying. In your engagement, do you have boundaries when it comes to single opposite sex? For example, if you met someone for the very first time, male or female, how would you like them to address both you and your fiance or husband if they have more interest in the opposite sex? Meaning the female may want to talk with him or the male may want to talk with her. Me, I prefer a woman to acknowledge me first, introduce herself, and let me know what and why she'd like to communicate with my husband. And she'd allow me to give her permission to do so. At the end of the day, this is my territory, and I should be allowed to have to say so of who I approve of letting into my space, and vice versa. Tell me you're controlling without telling me you're controlling. Am I the a-hole for picking popular, personally meaningful music for my funeral? I'm a stage 4 cancer patient. And the doctors have given me about a year to live without treatment, or maybe 2 with. Part of getting my affairs in order is planning my funeral. For it, I've chosen songs that mean a lot to me, but I've been told it will ruin them for other people. Specifically, one of my friends wants to use a song for her wedding and she doesn't want all our mutual friends crying and thinking about me during her wedding. She thinks I'm stealing her moment. Additionally, one of the songs I picked is Bare Necessities from the Jungle Book. My nickname has been Baloo for, that's really cute, for 20 plus years, and I've always sung it to/with the kids in the family, so it's entirely appropriate. So am I the a-hole for planning my funeral service with music that has special meaning to me, even though the songs might have meaning for other people? Am I purposefully ruining a kids movie like I've been accused of? I think you need better friends, especially if you have 1 year left. I think you need to surround yourself with people that don't do this to you. I'm very sorry to hear that, by the way. That's a huge bummer.
That's an understatement.
Life is short, clearly. Surround yourself with people that want the best for you. And that goes for you guys too. The wedding photographer had already spent an hour or 2 inside with the unmasked wedding party when one of the bridesmaids approached her. The woman thanked her for still growing up, considering everything that's going on with the groom. When the photographer asked what she meant by that, the bridesmaid said that the groom had tested positive for the COVID the day before. She was looking for me to be like, oh, that's crazy. Like I was going to agree with her that that's fine. The photographer recalls. So I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, oh, no, don't freak out. He doesn't have symptoms. He's fine. Where is this going? The photographer, who has asthma and 3 kids, left with her assistant before the night was over. Her exit was tense. The wedding planner said it was the most unprofessional thing she'd ever seen. Bridesmaids accused her of heartlessly ruining an innocent woman's wedding day. She recalls one bridesmaid telling her, I'm a teacher. I have 14 students. If I'm willing to risk it, why aren't you? Another said everyone was going to get COVID eventually, so what was the big deal? The friend of the bride who'd spilled the beans cried about being the worst bridesmaids ever. I think this might be illegal, but I'm just saying. She recalled one conversation from that wedding before she left the reception. I have children, she told the bridesmaid. What if my children die? The bridesmaid responded, I understand, but this is her wedding day. And yet another installment in an episode of That's F***ed Up. So, maid of honor fired. Although it might feel like a job, it isn't. I've been messaging our group chat for helping with planning some stuff and the wedding shower, etc., and they will read it and never reply, which is super frustrating. This is the entire exchange. COVID canceled our previous wedding date and she was able to return the dress, which cost less than $30 in the first place. She's calling me childish and a brat, but yet she's the one seeking attention. Mind you, she's almost jealous that I got engaged in the first place. I'm just upset and I need someone to tell me if I'm a Bridezilla. Sure, I'll tell you. I'm an expert after all. Y'all are fired. Why? I want attention. Dog, I love the hell out of you, but I have full-time college and full-time work. I am behind several classes already and the semester just started. I get that you want attention and we love you and we'll help you with this wedding and stuff. But please keep in mind that we all have families and stuff going on and can't always stop what we're doing to plan things, especially when we are working on setting things in stone as is. I work 2 jobs and have 3 children under the age of 4, plus I'm planning my wedding and helping my sister with her wedding. Oh, and we have ballet, speech therapy, gymnastics, and I work under the table to keep a roof over our heads, but I still have time for my friends and family, even if it's just a message to tell them I love them. It's fine, I'll figure everything out. Dude, I love you, but I'm rushing to finish an assignment. I'm happy to help, but to just try and one-up people is ridiculous. I deleted the chat. Yeah, I saw, you're acting childish. No, I didn't want them to get annoyed. I just gonna use that one group and whoever wants to comment on stuff and put their ideas in can. I'm literally just removing the group so I'll stop messaging everyone. This is your second wedding. You planned something, I took off work and got chewed out. I bought a dress I didn't need and even planned to cook for it as a favor, and you canceled it last second. I understand that you want to have the perfect wedding and have all the attention, but for God's sake, I just lost Brett and I have a full-time job and school. Stop acting like a brat. All right, we're done here. I love you and want to do this with you and for you, but let me get my frickin' homework done. No, I'm done talking. Go get your homework done. Then whatever, dude, you're gonna blow this marriage too. I hope so. Ooh, that one cut a little bit deep. Just let her finish her homework, damn. I understand your weddings are important to you, but like, chill out. This sim just showed up uninvited to my sim's wedding wearing a wedding dress. Oh, the audacity.
Why are you wearing white? You're not a virgin.
All rise for the honorable judge. Sorry, I had a spat everywhere. Charlotte! Silence! You may be seated. Am I the a-hole for refusing to make my half-sister look better on her wedding day by showing up? Okay. My half-sister and I share a mom. She's 9 years older than me, 17 female. Her dad died when she was 5. Mom remarried to my dad when she was 8 and got pregnant with me straight away. Until I was 10, I thought she was the best person ever and I wanted us to have a relationship like my friends had with their siblings. But she has rejected me as not being her real sister from day one. I mean, you kinda are though, like not full, but you are. Doesn't really matter what her opinion is, but. She also rejects my dad as anything other than my mother's babe. Okay, so like they're married though? Remarried, right. Okay, so she's married. Okay, all right then. She called him that to his face and in front of other people. The disrespect, bro. My dad always lets it slide and mom will tell her we are all a family, to which my half-sister will say she's family, but my dad and I are not. I'm sensing some anger due to her father dying. I'm sensing some angsty teenager feelings. When I was 6, my brother was stillborn when mom was about 6 months pregnant with him. She had grandma come over to watch my half-sister and me while she was in the hospital, and we were told something happened to our brother. I was really upset because I'd been so excited and wanted comfort from my half-sister. She told me to grow the F up and stay away from her. She sounds like she'd be a lot of fun at parties. You were 6 years old. She would have been 6 plus 9 is what? 15?
15 years old.
I mean, at this point, it's like age doesn't necessarily matter. If you're gonna be a dick about it, like you're just gonna be a dick. She also told me it was a shame the same thing didn't happen when my mom was expecting me. Wow, okay, wow. So she's just an awful human. Maybe not fully developed at this point, but still quite a crotch goblin, I must say. Grandma was horrified and told her she would regret saying that, but my half-sister told her she wouldn't regret saying that about someone she didn't love. I mean, you should never say that to anyone regardless of the fact that you love them or not. It kind of goes without saying, I think. I just don't really understand the teenage angst, because like if her parents got divorced or like, you know, her mom cheated or something and she's now with your dad, I would understand like kind of like the anger there. Not what she says, but like the anger. But your mom lost her husband. What does she expect her mom to do? Just like stay single for the rest of her life? The breaking point was that Christmas when I was 10. She decided to stay with a different family member for Christmas, but did show up to our grandparents for Christmas Day celebrations. I was excited to see her and thought the fact that she showed up meant she might like me now. But after I had tried talking to her, she turned on me and said she didn't give a frick about me or my life and did not want me to know anything about hers. She needs a good old kick in the pants is what she needs. She called me pathetic and asked why she would care about someone like me. Is she like secretly jealous of you or something? Is that what I'm gathering from this? I don't get it. She told me if she could turn back time, she would have begged for mom to have an with me because I was disgusting. I don't understand why you're trying to have a relationship with her in the first place. Like, she sounds awful. It was that point where I think I hit the point where I was like, you know what? Fine, good. I don't think she wants to have a relationship with you, so stop trying. Over the last 7 years, I've seen her maybe 3 times. She avoids being where I will be, and she's made it clear to mom that if mom wants to see her, dad and I are not welcome, and that we are not invited into her life. What is her problem? Holy cannoli! Except now she's getting married, she invited me and wanted me there because questions were asked. Right, because that would call into question what kind of person she is. Which is how the French say, embarrassing. Mom was so happy when my half-sister told her she really wanted me there. Mom was so eager to tell me. My half-sister even showed up to invite me personally, but I told her I would not go. Yeah, she can't just be a sister to you when it suits her. She explained she needed me and why, and I told her I will not make her look better by showing up. Period. I said she wants me dead. I don't want her in my life. It's as simple as that. As you should, babe. Like, there was no apology for how she treated you growing up. Why should you do her this favor when she was so terrible to you? Mom cried that we're siblings, and I told her I lost my only sibling when my brother was stillborn, that he would have been my only sibling, because my half-sister sure wasn't a sibling for me. She made it clear many times over that she did not want to be. My half-sister and mom both feel I'm really in the wrong. Am I the a-hole?
I mean,
I think your mom probably doesn't know the full extent to how you were treated. Or if she does, that's concerning. I can understand that she's happy that, you guys are finally gonna have a relationship, but that doesn't excuse all the horrible things she said and did before she needed you to show up to make her look like less of an evil person. Not to mention, if you go to her wedding, you gotta get her a gift. I'm buying for anyone that tells me they wish I wasn't born. No way!
Hell no!
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that your mom didn't get involved. Like, I don't understand why she wasn't more, like, all I'm reading here is that your grandma got involved and told her to stop saying stuff like that. Where was your mom through all of this treatment?
mom will tell her we're a family.
Okay, yeah, but she never actually told her to stop saying stuff like that. At least based on what you shared. Anyways, I know how I feel. I want to know how you feel, but let's hear what Reddit had to say. Not the a-hole. Your half-sister has been treating you below trash since you existed. You tried to fix the relationship with your sister and nothing changed. Your mom should de-escalate issues and not allow your half-sister to treat you like she treated, period. Like, where was your mom through all of this treatment? Your father, that is awful. Calling the stepfather a buddy, what is that? Like, literally, your half-sister's delinquent? Your half-sister is a delinquent.
Okay.
And she needs to be put in her place. People like your half-sister should be cut out of your life. She did not treat you like family and you don't owe her anything. She wants you at the wedding to avoid questions. And so what? You don't owe her anything. Never act because people might feel you are guilty. I agree with that. Wholeheartedly. She sounds like a bully, honestly. Like, I understand that we can all be angsty teenagers, wear the dark eyeliner, straighten our hair a little to the point that it's fried and stuff. But like, I just still think that like, if you haven't apologized for that behavior later in life, you don't feel like it was wrong. I think that this all could have been solved with an apology or an attempt to like actually get to know you and not just when it suits her. So let me get this straight. When she was 18 or 19, she told you, a 10-year-old, that she wanted you dead. If I were you, I would preemptively, is that what the math is? Did I do that correctly? I don't know if I did. I don't think I did. Sorry. If I were you, I'd preemptively tell all of your family members, aunts, uncles, cousins, etc. exactly why you aren't going. She's a monster and she will spin this against you if you only don't show up without saying a word. I agree. OP confirms when she was 19, she told a 10-year-old me that. Wow. Okay. Yeah. You're not going to that wedding, babes. You're not. And you're not having a relationship with this person until she wants to have a relationship with you and not just when it's convenient for her. I'm glad she realizes how it makes her look though. You are not the a-hole, my dear. Am I the a-hole for wearing my wedding dress to someone else's wedding? Please read the whole story before jumping to conclusions. Oh, but I love to jump to conclusions. I love it. I, 20 female, married my husband 2 years ago. We aren't rich and don't care that much about weddings, so I wore my prom dress to my wedding. It's not a super fancy dress or anything. It's basically a long sequin dress in deep dark blue with one sleeve. For reference, the dress. Oh, thank you for providing, okay. Thank you for providing visual material. Exhibit A, the dress. My friend Sierra, 22 female, was attending my wedding. Since the wedding, I wore it on a few occasions because it's basically the only fancy dress I own. Ooh, okay, I love this for you. Like getting a dress that you can like still wear. Okay, I love this for you because usually when you get a wedding dress, that's literally the only time that you're gonna wear it, right? And you spend all this money on a dress and like, for what? But like, it makes sense to also wear it to other occasions if it's appropriate.
I love this.
Love a repurposing queen. Recently, Sierra was getting married and I was obviously invited. The wedding color scheme was dark blue and she requested fancy attire. So I thought my dark blue dress would be fine. It's not white and it's not even remotely close to a wedding dress. Oh, she didn't like that, eh? Oh, okay. I also didn't feel like wasting money on another fancy dress that I wouldn't ever wear again, especially since we aren't rich. Okay, fair enough. Not everyone can afford to keep buying new dresses for every little social occasion. I get that. Totally fair. And I'm sorry, but like, if you're buying a new dress for every single social occasion, don't. It's way more bougie to have a couple really nice things and to wear them more than once than it is to buy fast fashion and wear something different that's only gonna last like 1 or 2 wears. So I showed up to her wedding in my dark blue sequin dress. It wasn't standing out or anything. Most of the guests were wearing even fancier dresses. However, when Sierra saw me, she lost it. Okay. See, I get the whole not wearing white to weddings because it's like this weird thing where if you do wear white to a wedding, then people think that you're the bride. But was she wearing the same color dress? I feel like the only way you can really upstage a bride is if like you wear like an outright like white wedding dress. I think this is irrational anger, to be honest. She yelled at me in front of all the guests, in front of her husband and my husband, saying what I did was horrible and no one shows up at a wedding in a wedding dress. Okay, but like, it's not, like I understand you wore it as your wedding dress, but it's not necessarily something that would confuse the other guests. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you get a pass. I don't know, right? I tried to reason with her saying the dress isn't a wedding dress. It's the one fancy piece of clothing I own. I wore it to multiple occasions before and after my wedding, and that's the stickler, right? Like if you had not worn it any other time other than to your friend's wedding, I feel like it would have been weird. But you've worn it to other things too. She didn't listen and kept yelling at me to the point where her bridesmaids and her husband started trying to calm her down. She also said a bunch of unsavory names to me. Oh, goodness. Okay. Apparently you live rent-free in her head on her wedding. Aren't you, like, shouldn't you be happy, babe? Like, come on. I was very upset with the drama and decided to leave with my husband. Then I started getting texts from Sierra who blamed me for upstaging her on her wedding day. Did anybody else feel like you upstaged? Like, are you just prettier than her? Is that Did anyone else feel that you were the bride? No? Okay, then I'm sorry, but like, if she feels you upstaged her, then that is her fault. That's like an insecurity thing. She blamed me for upstaging her on her wedding day, for driving a wedge between her and her husband, since he said that she overreacted massively and upset her friend over a dress. Well, he's right though. You didn't drive that wedge between her and her husband. She drove that wedge all the way in. I decided to ignore them because I think she's being unreasonable. But a part of me thinks I was the a-hole because I wore the dress to my own wedding. I mean, okay, I get the like wanting to wear the dress more than once. I get that you're not rich and, you know, maybe it's not a decent investment for you. It might be a good idea to get another dress at some point. You know, like it doesn't look like a wedding dress, but you know, maybe for other people's weddings, like we could wear a different dress or rent a dress. You know what I mean? Like you can rent dresses now, highly economical, borrow a dress, thrift one. But I don't think that you were an a-hole because it just like, it didn't look like a wedding dress. Like it just didn't. It was what you wore to your wedding, which is like not a traditional wedding dress at all. I don't know. I don't think you're an a-hole, but maybe it might be time to like get another dress. You know what I mean? I know how I feel, but let's see what Reddit had to say. Not the a-hole. Anyone reading the headline would have their finger straight on the why. In this circumstance, however, it would be absolutely okay to wear that dress, and she ruined her own wedding as well as shouting at you for no reason. Even if her husband thinks she's an a-hole from the sound of things. I suspect she's not only lost you as a friend, but her husband is likely to lawyer up soon. She sounds like she'd be a nightmare to live with. Exactly. If I were her husband, I would be so embarrassed to see her act like this. Like, it is kind of silly to act like this at your wedding because like you're not only ruining your own wedding, you're ruining your new husband's wedding. And for what? I just find that kind of silly. It's not worth a massive freak out like this. Like if you had an issue with it, you could have maybe talked to her and been like, you know, might be time to pick up another dress, like calmly and collectively. I don't know. I completely agree. Had the bride not been at your wedding, she would never have known it was a wedding dress. That's a good point. That is a good point, but she was at the wedding. She was. I hope things can be mended with your friend. I think since it's not explicitly a wedding dress, I don't see what the problem is. The dress in the picture was a basic formal dress. No one would look at her and think she was wearing a wedding dress. And this is the thing, right? Like when you wear white to a wedding and you upstage the bride in that way, it's because people think that you're the bride and they come up to you and they congratulate you and like, you know, well, I mean, you actually kind of look like an idiot because most people would know who the bride was, I would hope. But like, there's this weird thing where it's like you're trying to look like a bride on your wedding day, but the dress that you wore on your wedding day is not a wedding dress. I think Sierra has a different problem with OP and deliberately manufactured a situation. This is why I said, like, is she jealous of you? Like, did you look better than her? Like, I don't see what the issue is. She specifically picked dark blue and fancy. She knew OP wore that dress multiple times. That is a very good point. She literally picked the color of your only fancy dress and is surprised that you wore it. I would think there was a close to zero chance she thought OP would go out and get a different dress. I think Sierra is a drama llama. Ooh, okay, it's a setup. The fact that the groom stuck up for her makes me think the bride is jealous. This has come up before between them and she wanted to embarrass her at her wedding. Ooh, noted. Okay. Not the a-hole, my dear. Reddit has spoken. Am I the a-hole for picking a revealing bridesmaid's dress in order to get one of my bridesmaids to drop? So this has been a long thing coming. My soon-to-be husband has a sister. Let's call her Mia. Now, Mia and I do not click very well. I am polite, but I wouldn't say we are friends. I felt I was forced by his family to make her a bridesmaid or she will be sad. I'm gonna be blunt. Mia is, fat and very insecure about it. Oh, okay. This has led bridesmaids dress shopping to be a nightmare. Okay. Never could find something that she wanted and all the other bridesmaids and me liking it. Okay. So I gave everyone two options to vote on. Option 1 was getting a dress that can be styled multiple ways, or picking from a collection so everyone matches but they will need to pay for it. Option 2 was I buy everyone's dresses, but I chose the dress and my decision is final. Okay. I thought we were kind of going into like fat shaming territory a little bit, which I don't necessarily like, but I'll hear you out. My 5 bridesmaids voted and option 2 won. So I picked out a blue strapless dress with a mini slit. I really like it and I knew Mia would have an issue with it. Okay. Ooh. I sent a picture to all the bridesmaids and confirming the right size before I ordered it. This is where it blew up. Mia was pissed I picked a revealing dress. Ooh, this is a weird one. This resulted in an argument where she thinks I'm a huge jerk and I told her she can step down if she has issues with the dress. I mean, it is kind of a dickish move, but you also didn't really want her in your wedding anyway. I don't know. She tried to get the family on her side, but everyone knows I gave them options and had watched me struggle to find something everyone wants. Edit, she voted for the option where I pay for the dress. Okay, that also changes things, yes. If it was up to a vote, then anyways. She picked the option where you would get to pick the dress and then she's pissed off that it's not a dress that she likes. I truly didn't ask her since her and mother-in-law announced she was one of my bridesmaids at a family gathering. The only way to keep the peace with the whole family was basically giving her what she wanted. I've also gone to 4 different shops to find a dress for everyone. I feel like this is less about the weight thing. And it's more about her being picky and kind of making this whole thing about accommodating her. If I went to like bridesmaid shop with a bunch of my friends and there was like kind of like a bit of an outsider there that was like essentially telling me that she didn't like my choices, kind of making it really difficult for everybody because everybody else liked something and she didn't, and we had to keep looking and waste everybody's time.
Yeah, like,
I feel like you also, oh God, this is tough. This is a tough one, okay? Like,
I'm just walking on eggshells trying not to get canceled here.
I do feel like it was a bit of a dickish move. But I also feel like she's also a dick in this situation. I do feel like she's an a-hole too. In my eyes, you're a little butthole. Like, a small one. I'm willing to be swayed by other people's opinions because it is a tough one. I'm also totally fine with being wrong. I know. Let's see what everybody else had to say. Going against the current grain, I say not the a-hole. The a-hole here is the mother-in-law and Mia. Mother-in-law for announcing me as a bridesmaid, Mia for being difficult. I'm fat, and if I don't fit the same dress as everyone else, I'd have voted for buying my own from a collection. Mia could still ask for this if you're willing to compromise again. Your fiance has your back. Sometimes the bridesmaids wear a dress they wouldn't have picked out because they respect the bride's choice. I mean, isn't that always the case though? Like, don't bridesmaids like almost always wear whatever the hell the bride wants you to wear, even if it's not something that looks the best on you? OP gave two options. Either they choose their own same but different dress, or OP chooses for them, and it was Mia who was making it difficult for everyone else to find a dress without OP paying for it. And Mia voted for the you pick and your word is final, aka the one where Mia doesn't have to spend money. If she didn't want that, then she should have voted the other way. Here's an idea. Mia could alter the dress to make it less revealing. There you go. One of my bridesmaids was significantly larger than the rest, and the bridesmaid's dress I chose was strapless with optional spaghetti straps. She asked if she could wear a bolero jacket over her dress so she could wear a more substantial bra, and I was 100% fine with that. There you go. I feel like maybe she's just being a little bit difficult. But I also feel like I would have been more on your side if you didn't mention, you know, I don't know, like I feel like there's just a little bit of undertones about you being upset that she's a little overweight. That's just how I feel. It's just the fact that you mentioned it and the way that you mentioned it. But I feel like everybody's kind of being in this case. Just saying. I don't think I've ever seen a wedding reception invoice before. Doug and Dedra, wedding reception, no call, no show, guest. Unit price $120, quantity to amount $240. I'm surprised you didn't put the tax on there. You guys incorporated or what? Notes, this invoice is being sent to you because you confirmed seats at the wedding reception during the final head count. The amount above is the cost of your individual seats. Because you didn't call or give us proper notice that you wouldn't be in attendance, this is what you owe us for paying for your seats in advance. You can pay via Zelle or PayPal. Please reach out to us and let us know which method of payment works for you. Thank you. Okay, so I actually don't know how I feel about this. Like, this is super, super petty and passive aggressive, but like the chances of someone actually like paying this invoice are very, very slim. And the couple, the bride and groom, probably know that. I actually kind of get why they're upset. But let's be honest, you're not gonna take someone to small claims court over a $240 invoice for a wedding reception dinner. Or are you? I don't know. So obviously the internet had like mixed opinions about this when this went viral. A bunch of you sent this to my DMs. Here were some of the responses. I would send it back with some version of good luck trying to collect. A contract is not formed when you RSVP for a wedding. Fair enough. If you can't afford it, then don't have it. Not excusing rude behavior, but stop doing big things if you don't have big pockets. I mean, that's kind of fair. I remain stunned that more people don't say, hey, instead of a gift, we'd love for you to celebrate our day with us. Can you chuck in $50 for drinks with your RSP and we'll call it even? Yeah, I mean, that's definitely fair. You could have messaged them and been like, hey, like you guys didn't show up. Not sure what happened, but it would be really awesome if you could toss us, you know, a couple bucks because we paid for your dinner. Like, this whole invoice thing is like super petty and passive aggressive. And I'm here for it, but it might not be the best way to get people to do what you want. Certainly sends a message, doesn't it? Easily one of the tackiest things I've ever seen. This is petty. You create a budget for any event in advance. Either you can afford it if everyone shows up or not. No shows at a wedding might be personally hurtful, but guests don't owe you anything. Inconsiderate, yes, but it's not standard practice to charge no call / show. So unless Doe and D have a contract with the guests, they're just being petty. Correct. I had people not show up for our wedding. Also, I had people not invited show up. Had to pay extra $500 to cover the additional 8 plates. It happens. We had fun and moved on. The no-shows were covered already. Hazards of giving a party. It's absurd. No, it's not proper etiquette to be a no-show, but maybe there was a reason. A wedding should be paid for by the couple. The attendees are guests. Okay, so those are the people that didn't think that this was fair, but there are some people who agreed with them. Let's take a deep dive. Start a discussion, guys. Fully behind this, barring an emergency, how do you bail on a friend / family member's wedding without telling them? Friends and fam, take heed. Drafting our no-show invoices now. Evil emoji. I'm not sure if I would send an invoice, but I ain't mad at this. Don't RSVP if you're not gonna show. Very inconsiderate. I had 2 people not show up to my wedding, and I swear I was so pissed because it's expensive. Normalize invoices for a $120 head. I don't blame them. Someone no-showed to my wedding and I never talked to them again. That's fair. I would be pretty pissed off about that too. It's petty and tacky, but so is RSVPing and not showing up, so that's also fair. Also very fair. Obviously, guys, I want you guys to tell me if you think that this bride and groom are bridezillas and groomzillas. But let's move on, shall we? Bridezilla lies about having a child-free wedding to exclude her niece because of her looks. A mom heard her sister was having a child-free wedding. She was happy to leave her stepdaughter at home, but she was horrified only to discover there were lots of kids there and the bridezilla had lied to exclude her child. Why? Because that child was 15 years old and she had a burn scar on her neck and over half of her face due to an accident 4 years ago, and her stepmom believes this is the reason she wasn't invited. That's cold. That's messed up. That's super, super messed up. Okay, but this is just, okay, I'm gonna deep dive. When my husband and I got to the venue, the first thing we noticed was kids of all ages, kids all around the venue. My husband stopped walking. He paused for a few seconds, looked at me, then let go of my hand and said he was out of there. He walked out, but I stood still when mom saw me and signaled me to come join the family. I didn't go. I asked one of the guests who had his kid with him, and he said this event allowed kids. I was seeing red at this point because I was fooled into leaving my stepdaughter at home and coming with my husband only. Why? I bluntly asked if it was because her stepniece has a burn scar / visible injury that she and her husband were too ashamed of. Okay, according to the anonymous poster, her sister later admitted that the suspicions were right, and it was the groom's decision to exclude the teen. I don't think that you're in this scenario. That's messed up. Super messed up. Tisk tisk. Shake my finger at you. Am I the for not wanting my fiance's grandmother 98 at our wedding? My fiance and I are getting married next month. Everything's going great, but we've been having a serious argument about having his grandmother at our wedding. We've agreed to not have kids at our wedding as we want the reception to be a huge party for your adult friends and family with dancing, loud music, and an open bar. However, for precisely the same reason that we don't want kids there, I also don't want his elderly grandmother at our wedding either. I said she can come to the ceremony, but not to the reception. What's wrong with her? Is she like super prudish? Why don't you party with a grandma? It'll be so fun. Dude, partying with grandmas is the best. Don't exclude her. I'm upset. It will be extremely loud and I want a party atmosphere and she will be out of place. For context, none of my grandparents are still alive and he still has his last living grandmother. That context does not really help the situation. I'm not gonna lie, I'm judging you a little bit. This has caused a huge fight. Fair. Since she said that she's always dreamed about being at her grandson's wedding. Understandable. He is her oldest grandchild. She probably won't make it to the next family wedding. I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but this is so messed up. Which is why I said that she's more than welcome at the ceremony, but she will be too out of place at the reception. She and he both insist that it will be fine and wants to go to the party, but I know it will inevitably lead to us dealing with her and taking care of her. I just want to get drunk and get let loose with my friends. She's now really upset and won't talk to me. My fiance is also angry, and I think I'm within my right to make this request. I am the bride. Yeah, but that's kind of messed up, dude. Just let her come. She's gonna pass out by 9 o'clock anyway. Really? You're gonna be a bridezilla about this? I think you should get drunk with her, but now she might not want to get drunk with you, which is fair. This morning, we were talking about the bridesmaid who was diagnosed with cancer before the wedding. She was in and had to shave her head during treatment. The bride asked her to step down from the wedding because she found the haircut too upsetting and didn't want it in the wedding with the other bridesmaids who all had matching haircuts. It has to be symmetrical. The ex-bridesmaid said fine and sent a bill for the $700 dress and shoes she had to buy for the wedding. The bride ghosted her, so she filed a lawsuit in small claims court. Who's in the right and who's in the wrong here? Who's in the wrong? I would say the bride is in the wrong. I think that's kind of messed up. I don't know, man. I think people place way too much importance on what people look like at weddings. I mean, yeah, you want your dream wedding and stuff. I understand that, but like that's just like heartless in my opinion and completely unnecessary and a really good way to lose a friend. Hope it was worth it. Hey everyone, I need some advice. I send my bridesmaids a group message to make sure that everyone is on board with everyone else and no one is responding. I had to rewrite it 3 times because I'm so scared of sounding mean. I finally sent it and they read it, but no one has responded. Is it too harsh? The message says, hey ladies, wedding crunch time is approaching fast. So I wanted to just message everyone at once so we're all on the same page with everything. Smiley face. I don't know why those smiley faces are so passive aggressive, but they kind of are. They kind of are. If someone sends it in a work email, I'm like, ooh. We will be going as a group to get dresses either in December or January. So we all need to figure out a date that works for us all. All bridesmaids have to pay for their own dresses, shoes, hair, and makeup. Makeup and hair inspiration pics attached as well as dress and bouquet inspiration. Everyone in my bridal party must have natural colored hair. I'm currently working with a florist on your bouquet as well. If you'd like to pitch in to pay for your own bouquet, the help is greatly appreciated. This is who's walking with who. It's not negotiable. I know it seems like I'm being a total bridezilla and I promise I'm not trying to be. I just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page with this and that everyone is 100% on board. I love all of you and I'm so happy to be sharing my special day with all of you. Again, this reoccurring theme that keeps happening in these videos is if you can't afford a big wedding with all the bells and whistles, don't have a big wedding. I think asking people to pay for those things is a little bit a step too far. That's just my opinion though. My whole life I've been supported by my parents. I'm an only child and my parents have a net worth of a few million if that helps. I'm 30 now and they bought me my first house, car, paid for my uni, holidays for me and my partner, etc. I'm now working a comfy job with my dad as a partner in his law firm. My parents approached me and said they were not going to fund our wedding as we were both earning a lot and have no debts. I told them it's a rite of passage for parents to fund their children's wedding. They're adamant that they don't want to and they want me to learn the value of things. How can I convince them otherwise? Me and my partner are saving for our second home and I don't want to spend money on a wedding. Well, that's kind of unfortunate, isn't it? Oh, goodness me. There's certain things where there's certain religions and spiritualities where the parents fund the wedding. But to me, it sounds kind of entitled, especially since they've given you everything. I think asking for them to pay for a wedding is a bit much. You could just have a small wedding, not spend $100,000 or more, and then save for a house, you know? I think I agree with your parents. I'm just saying, especially since they've given you pretty much everything. You've grown up with a golden spoon in your mouth. Wait, what's the expression? Silver spoon? Silver spoon. I think this personally is a golden spoon, but that's just my opinion. Is it wrong that I told my mom with bright red hair that I wanted her to dye her hair for my wedding or else she couldn't come? I feel bad, but I want everyone to match and for someone to not be a sore thumb. What's wrong with gingers? Got an issue with gingers? Alrighty guys, those were some bridezillas and groomzillas and, you know, I swear, if it weren't for these videos, all of y'all will get left unchecked. I'm keeping y'all in line. I think I'm doing a service to humanity, really. Subscribe!